And hi again, everybody. Welcome back to Rain Goes on the River here in Kerrville. You know where it is. It's right on Junction Highway. And they've got $1 wings again tonight. And the Mountaineer Burger is back on the menu. Try it. It's a seasoned patty. They've got blue cheese crumble. They've got Swiss cheese. They've got lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, Mountaineer Burger, dollar wings, cold drinks. What do you want? Keith Allen, head football coach at Shriner University, has joined us again, and we were here last week, and we were talking about your first game, which at that point really was just more of a concept than an actual thing. And then you go to Houston, you play the game. Right. It was a good day for the Mountaineers, by the way. They won 59-34 over Gateway Christian, and 59 points in the opener. So your thoughts on what you saw on the field in Houston on Saturday?
Well, for a football team that has been together for less than 4 weeks, we did a very good job of being disciplined and executing the game plan that we had. So I was overall pleased with the effort and the enthusiasm our kids showed in the game, and we minimized some mistakes, but, you know, they always say the biggest improvement is between week 1 and week 2. So there's a lot of things we got to clean up, but being able to score 59 points in your first game in 70 years and holding the opposing team to less, that's a good thing.
What was the strongest point of your offense, you thought? Was it the running game, the passing game, the blocking? What was it?
It was a little bit of all of it. It all ties in together. But, the biggest thing was we were able to establish a tempo running the ball. So to put this in perspective, Coach Jones harps on 4 yards of play. 4 yards of play is all we need.
Yep.
Our first drive was 19 plays, 76 yards. So if you do the math, that's 4 yards of play. So we did 19 plays in a row, right down the opening drive. We took 19 plays and scored a touchdown.
That's burning some time off the clock, too.
Well, we're going up tempo, so it didn't burn up that much. So.
4 yards on first down, and really the playbook is wide open, isn't it?
Correct. It makes your play calling a lot easier when it's second, medium, third, and short. Whereas it's third and long, there's not a lot of things that you're going to surprise the opposing team with.
A couple of players that stood out in that game in Houston on Saturday night were Christian Laura, running back. 27 carries, 129 yards. Talk about what you saw from him.
Well, he's a workhorse, and we got to be smart with him because he's such a workhorse that we could run him out pretty early in the game, and we did that first drive. I think he carried the ball 13 times that first drive. But as a coach, when you're sitting and you're having success, rinse and repeat. Just keep doing it until they can stop you. So seeing how he could run the ball and how the offensive line was blocking and how different players, Cole Hirsch was blocking for him. It was great to see. And then when we needed to dump it out the perimeter, our receivers were able to catch the ball, and Isaac was able to distribute it. So, and you tell these kids, they say, Coach Allen, are you a pass coach or are you a run coach? What do you mean? I'm whatever wins coach. So if they give us a box and we can run the ball, we're going to run the ball.
You talked about the running game, and there has to be coordination between the offensive line and the running back. And given the short time you had to get ready, and you hadn't played an opponent, did that look good, the timing and everything?
Yeah, we practiced. We had that scrimmage against Trinity, and we've had a lot of practices. 4 weeks worth of practices to work on our timing.
However, when you see an opponent, it's all different, isn't it?
Right, it is. And, the kids are excited, though, so it's still, focus on the fundamentals, master the mundane. And the biggest thing we harp on our run game is keep it downhill, keep it right off the center's backside, and keep it vertical. And our kids did a great job of that.
Dominic Vasquez put up 60 yards as a running back. He's right here from Kerrville. He's Kerrville-Tybee. So what did you see from him?
The exact same thing. Those kids, our running backs are interchangeable, so they're running the exact same game plan. We don't have anybody that's a blazer right now, and we don't have anybody that's a bruiser. We have a mix of both, and everybody we got. So we can run a downhill run game, maybe make a few miss, and you're not going to see us outrun anybody yet. But right now, what we can do is put our nose down and get 4 or 5 yards of carry, and get a first down and move with sticks.
At quarterback, he's out of Brazoswood. You had Isaac Ponce, 10 of 15, very accurate with his passes, 152 yards. What did you see from him at quarterback?
Well, the biggest thing we harped with him on, if you want to say if there was anything bad, was we got to pick it up. We got to play faster. And I had him go through every clip of the game and tell me how much faster could he snap the ball. But take that off the table. His reads were great. He did a good job of distributing the ball. He did a great job of making sure the right guys got the ball. And he did a great job making sure the offense was in the right formation and running the right play.
Do you ever huddle, or do you just go?
No.
So when they get to the line of scrimmage, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing and we're going. Yeah.
So that's fun to watch.
Yeah, and the thing about it is when you're a team like Shrine University, we're not going to be bigger than anybody we play. We're not going to be faster than anybody we play. So what we better be is we better be better conditioned and we better be better disciplined. And you take those two things, you can minimize all those others if you go fast. Because if the defense doesn't have a chance to adjust or breathe, they're going to make mistakes. And, a good team's going to take advantage of those mistakes and those misalignments.
Another player was Andrew Castillo. He's a wide receiver from Cyprus. He caught a 62-yard touchdown pass, so he broke a long one.
Oh, yeah. So we have the deep choice concept, and their corner was a flat foot read, so he ran right by him. And our quarterback read that and was able to put the ball in the air and feed him. And Andrew was able to come down with it and score 62 yards, I believe.
Yeah, 62.
Yep.
And then Derek Gray caught 3 passes for 52 yards. He's from Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial.
Right, same thing. So we got really tall guys on the outside. Derek and Andrew are some of our taller kids on our team. We're able to isolate smaller corners one-on-one, and so we're able to take our bigger body frame. We might not be able to run them every time, but at least we can box them out and get a big target for the quarterback.
So 461 yards total offense.
Right.
You'll take that.
Always, but I tell our kids this, letters are always more important than numbers. And what I mean by that is W's mean way more than any stat line we could have. So, our offensive goal is to score 1 more point than the opposing offense, and our defensive goal is to hold the opposing defense to 1 point less. And
now your defense gave up 34. So on paper that looks okay. There's you need improvement, but you did force 4 turnovers.
Right.
And any team that forces 4 turnovers and wins the turnover game has a really high probability of winning.
Absolutely. We dominated in the kicking game. We won all the phases of the kicking game. We blocked the field goal. They muffed a punt. We recovered a punt. And they went for 4 onside kicks, and we recovered all 4. So we were 4 for 4 on the onside kicks. We made 8 PATs and a field goal. Yeah. So our kicker was 100%. Their average starting position on kickoff was the 28-yard line. So, and our average was the 40. So we won all the kicking, any measurable stat in the kicking game we won. And we told our kids, everybody we play, we better win that third of the game.
You had a pick 6 too, didn't you?
We did have a pick 6.
Those are fun.
Yeah. So it was a PBU, and Caleb Hernandez was in the back end of it. He caught it, and he scampered around and ran zigzagged across the field and scored a touchdown. So it's always great to see that.
You mentioned your kicker, and I want to give his name. Bryce Warren.
Yep.
Is his name. He's a freshman. You got a lot of freshmen. He's from Victoria. But you're right, 8 of 8 on PAT and hit a 34-yard field goal.
Yep.
And kickers sometimes are hard to find. So have you found one?
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what. So I've been a collegiate special teams coordinator, and as a head coach and in the Division I level, and our operation time on PAT field goal is just as good, if not better, than any Division I school I've been at. So that just tells you between our operation, between our snapper, holder, and kicker is really, really good. I mean, we're sub 1-3, which sub 1-3. I know that a lot of people listening don't know what that means, but just if you're a sub 1-3, you're not going to get it blocked from the edges.
So now you've got a few days to practice. When do you play again?
We go to Belton Monday. So we're going to play the developmental team of Mary Hardin Band.
Okay.
And so I talked to their coach yesterday, or today actually. They're dressing just a few. They're dressing 118 kids for their developmental team. So they're going to have a lot of guys on the sideline.
So, and that'll be on Monday at 6 p.m.
That'll be Monday at 6. It's actually 5 p.m.
Okay. Well, a good chance to turn around and see if you can do it again.
Right. And now it's an established program that's been well coached, and these kids have all been recruited heavily. And UMHB's got a storied tradition, and so we're going to be playing some of their kids that are their kids are trying to prove a point to get on that varsity bus. So, we're going to get their best.
Keith Allen, head football coach at Shriner, has joined us here on the Shriner Coaches Show. Again, we're at Ringo's, and you know where it is, right there on Junction Highway here in Kerrville. Dollar Wings, come on by, and we'll be glad to welcome you. And there's merchandise here, so it's out on the deck, and you can sit there and look at the river and buy some Shriner merchandise, buy some Monty merchandise. What were your emotions going through the game as you saw a Shriner team put a uniform on and run onto the field, and for the first time since 1957?
Nostalgia gets lost on me because it's a job. So it was the first game of the season for me. That was kind of my mindset. But after the game, the emotions kind of came out. Like during the national anthem, I wasn't sitting there thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is the first time Shriners had a football team." I'm thinking, "All right, it's opening kickoff. We got to show up." Yeah. And then during the game, we're making adjustments and making corrections and doing those things for the entire 60 minutes. So, you don't really get a chance to look back and think about, wow, that was the first touchdown ever. That was the first big stick in modern history. So those things kind of get lost on me. But after the game, I was able to look at our kids and say, "Hey, this is what you came here for, fellas."
Yeah, what did you say to them? I mean, there had to be some pretty good emotion in that.
At the end of the game, yeah. So I just told them, I was like, "This is why we came here. Our core values showed up. We were a team. We were tough. We had great enthusiasm and effort. We were disciplined, and we finished." And I told them, I said, "Those are our core values, and they show up all the time, and when you do things the right way." But the biggest thing I said, you guys won a game. As far as I know, this is the first time as a 4-year college Shriners ever won a football. So that says a lot for these kids to go out. And we were playing a 4-year college that's playing Division II schools that's going to count in the NCAA stats. So they played Centenary the week before. That counts with NCAA stats. So we played a game. That's what I was trying to tell you. It wasn't like a scrimmage. This was a full-fledged game. And, 60 minutes, 50-minute halftime, and our kids prevailed. Our kids stuck together. They were, I tell them, this is how I kind of tell them before the game. I was like, say, be a team. Be the most excited team. And then be the best at your job. And I break it down what all that means. But we saw kids, we didn't travel any trainers for water. Yeah. So we had players. I remember 2 quarterbacks. He didn't come to the game to be a water guy. But he saw a need, and he went and grabbed 2 water canners, and he was watering the team down. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of players we have. He's a second-team quarterback. Could he have cried and complained about it? Yeah. He could have been, miserable and been grumpy, but he added value. He was a big cheerleader and had water bottles, and we have a lot of kids like that just want to be part of the team, want to add value however they can.
When you play up-tempo like that, what is your training like for them? Is it short burst running? What do you do?
We play the game really fast.
Play the game? Play the game. You simulate the game?
Yeah, we play on air to teach them what the tempo looks like. And then when we play against an opposing team, we teach them, what's the biggest slowdown? The officials and the ball carriers. So we teach them how to eliminate that and eliminate the officials as possible. So it's all training. And then how do you train? You could think, sprint interval training. That's sort of what we do. We go as hard as we can, jog to the line, get the call, do it again. Like, we want the ball snapped from the end of whistle. We want the ball snapped within 11 seconds. From when they blow the ball dead, we want to be able to snap the ball in 11 seconds.
Okay. And, I did basketball for years and years, and if a basketball team gets more shots than the opponent, that's good. Right. And you're getting more chances, more plays, maybe.
Absolutely. So, the only way you score, right, is if you put the football in the end zone. And so last time I checked, you have to have the ball. And the more opportunities you have to run a play, the more opportunities you have for one of those to break free and score a touchdown. So, that's our philosophy.
When you practice, how long are you practicing?
Between an hour and a half and 2 hours.
Okay. The reason I ask is I had the good fortune of meeting players that played for John Wooden, and it was Bill Walton and Marcus Johnson, 2 good players. And they said that his practices were always about 90 minutes. They were very well structured, and his theory was if I can't do it in an hour, and a half to 2 hours, then it's not going to get done.
Yeah, so I'm showing you our practice script from today. There's actually 18 periods, an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Yeah. So that's pretty much you can get your work done.
Well, anything other longer than an hour and a half, you start to, the kids lose focus. And, you know, you've got to, you know, if you want to race a horse in a race, you got to make sure the horse gets to the race, right? So we can't kill them in the practice and expect them to be a quarter horse on race day if we don't rest them.
When you were a player, what position did you play?
Left out. So I played fullback, which is a non-existent position in today's society.
It is, isn't it? Except I was in Green Bay, and I got to know John Coon pretty well. He was doing a radio show at the same radio, and he may have been the last of the fullbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I did not have a storied career. I was a walk-on, and, I was an average at best player, but they liked me because I worked hard and I knew what to do. Like, I could look at a scout card and know exactly what I was supposed to do. So they kept me around.
Who was the coach that kind of got you interested in it?
In coaching?
Yeah, coaching.
Tom Landry, to be honest with you. When I was a little bitty kid, I knew I wanted to coach football. Like when I was in third grade, there's a picture of me at Halloween, and I'm dressed up like Tom Landry. Nobody else is jealous. Did you have the football? Yeah, I did.
On the tie?
I mean, Tom Landry was my stoic hero. And before I knew much about him, I got my degree in civil engineering. Well, Tom Landry's degree was in mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Because, you know, you think about it, he was cerebral and really just, you know, had a mental capacity for the game.
That was my favorite era of Cowboy football. Absolutely. Staubach and Tony Dorsett. And I was working in Dallas, and we did several shows with Cowboy players. Well, and once a year, we would do a show with Tom Landry. And Tom Landry wouldn't come to the radio station. We would go to the mountains. You know, he would come to us. I mean, we'd go to him. So I would walk into Tom Landry's office. We would set up our recording equipment. I couldn't believe I was in his office. I felt like I was in like a chapel. I mean, I'm in Tom Landry's office. Oh, my goodness. And then we'd done the show about 8 or 9 years in a row, and he'd kind of gotten to know us. And every week he'd have a weekly press conference. And one time I got the nerve to ask a question ahead of the newspaper guys, because you always had to wait for the newspaper guy.
Right.
But I held up my finger, and he said, "Yes, Ted." And he said my name. And I almost forgot what I was going to ask. I was like, Tom Landry knows my name.
You know, Barry Switzer was like that.
Was he?
Yeah, like, I obviously never played for Barry Switzer, but when I got my first full-time job, I didn't even know my number, right? But somehow he got the number, and they called, and the head coach at Northeast Louisiana, Ed Zombrecker, says, "You got a phone call in my office."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And it was Coach Switzer just say, "Hey, congratulations."
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even know he knew who I was.
I know, it's the same thing.
But I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Well, again, congratulations on the win.
Oh, it's a fun time. You know, it's always easier to correct after a win than a loss.
Yeah.
So our kids have been in great spirits, and it was an exciting time for them, and it was a great 4.5 bus ride home.
Yeah.
The 4.5 hour bus ride was way better with the win.
Oh, it is. And good luck on Monday. It'll be a challenge for you.
Yes, sir.
But you'll know more about your team, and even if you have things to correct, that's part of coaching.
Well, and that's what we're doing this year for, right? To get better and to develop a core standard and a foundation for this football team.
When we come back, we're going to talk to some of the players who participated in that game. And again, we want to tell you we're at Ringo's. It's on Junction Highway. We'll be here every week. We encourage you to come by and support Shriner Athletics. A little bit later in the show, we'll talk about what's going on this week at Shriner. There's a men's soccer game that's on campus. The women are off campus. And the volleyball team will have their home opener and their conference opener at the event center on Saturday at 2 o'clock. So we'll talk about all that later. We'll talk to some of the Mountaineers. I'm Ted Davis at Ringo's. Back after this on the Shriner Sports Network. I've never had anybody cheering me on like that, and I have a feeling that it really wasn't for me. It probably was for the young man to my left, Christian Laura, who was the running back in the ball game on Saturday in Houston. 27 carries, 129 yards. You win the game, you put up 59. So what was it like for you to play your first game?
You know, it was great. Coach Allen gave me an opportunity to come play college ball, and I was really grateful and blessed for that. But I got to give most props to the men up front, my line.
Well, 129 yards, 27 carries. He worked you hard on that first drive, didn't he?
Yes, sir. I was pretty gassed.
Do you like playing up tempo like that?
I do. I feel like it gives us an advantage, especially if we're really conditioned and the team is struggling to be disciplined and get set and just keep up with our offense.
When you're playing fast like that, does that require more concentration or what?
Well, like Coach Allen says, he always says, you fall to the level of your training when you're tired. And so when we rep it so much, it's kind of just like second nature at that point.
You are from Kingwood.
Yes, sir.
In the Houston area. So what led you to come to Shriner?
Well, actually, so I had sent my film out to several colleges, and this was like the best fit for me, like location-wise, new program, new opportunities. Starting spot was available for anyone.
Is it rewarding to be part of a first here?
Yes, sir. Very.
Because everything that happens, like, your first carry was the first carry since 1957.
Yes, sir.
The first touchdown was the first touchdown. So what's that like?
It's awesome to make history. Whenever I went on my visit, he said that our butts were going to be the first ones in that locker room, and it's great to be part of something new.
What do you think of Eddington? Because that's the old gym that they fixed up. You got a brand new locker room.
Yes, sir. It's very nice. I was not expecting that at all whenever we first walked in. When I went on my visit back in March, they were just had the foundation down. They built it fast.
What's your major?
Exercise science, pre-professional.
What do you want to do with it?
Physical therapist.
Yeah. Who were your athletic heroes growing up? What band? Team did you love to be a fan of?
I loved Antonio Brown and Marshawn Lynch. Those are my two favorite players.
You run like Marshawn Lynch?
A little bit, I try to.
Create contact or avoid it?
I'll make contact if it's needed, but if I got a seam, I'll make a cut and hit it.
What have you liked about Shriner so far?
Just everyone kind of knows each other, and all the staff is very welcoming and very helpful, and it's a beautiful campus.
Yeah. Had you been to the Hill Country much before?
I go to the Frio River every year since I was little, so a little bit.
Yeah, I went over to Frio this summer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, down in Lakey.
Yes, I went to, I'm not sure what part, but I was at the Frio.
Christian Laura had 27 carries, 129 yards in the 59-34 win over Westgate Christian on Saturday. Christian, thank you. Good to talk to you. And good luck next Monday. All right, next we're going to talk to, who's next? Who's next? Caleb Hernandez. Sit down. All right, put the headphones on. So, young man, defensive back from San Antonio Park High School.
Yes, sir.
I think I may have done a game that you were in last year.
Really?
Yeah, for Texas Sports Productions, live streams them down in San Antonio.
Really?
And did you get to play in the playoffs last year?
Yes, sir, we did. We played first round against Harlem.
That was it.
That's a good one.
So I did a game of yours last year. You had a pick six
Yes, sir, I
in
did.
the ball game. So what happened there?
It was crazy. I was playing, we were playing cover two over the top, so I had everything deep. I just make sure I got back. And then one of my defenders, one of my corners was there, and he didn't catch the ball, so it kind of went through his hand and came straight back to me. And then I kind of just ran with it. Made a couple moves and scored.
So you had to make a couple of moves. You didn't have a wide open field.
Sorry, it got like closed off, kind of like the 25-30-ish, I'd say. And then I had to cut back inside. And once I cut back inside, it was just foot race.
You are part of a program that is starting brand new.
So,
Never been done before, at least not in the last 60, 70 years almost. So what's that like, to be a part of something completely new?
it's great. It's amazing. You know, just being able to start something new. You know, start your own path, sort of.
Yeah.
Put down those stones for whoever's coming here in the future. So, it's
Talking to Caleb Hernandez, defensive back for the Mountaineers. What did you like about your opportunity here? I think mainly the chance to play, right? I mean, you knew you could come and play.
It's a that, of course, and then just being able to go play at the next level. You know, that's always been the dream. I feel like for a lot of these kids coming here, just going to play at the next level of college ball it's a dream for a lot of us. Just being able to fulfill that.
Growing up in San Antonio, which team did you root for? Who were you a fan of? Cowboys, Texans?
No, I was more of a Seahawks fan. I don't know why. They caught my eyes. Yeah, the Seahawks. I've been a Seahawks fan for a while since I was a little kid.
Your major? What do you major?
Sports management, trying to be a coach. So,
You want to be a coach?
yes, sir.
You know, there's a lot of ups and downs in coaching.
I've heard. I know there's a lot. I'm ready for it.
Pat Riley once said, great coach for the Miami Heat, that when you're a coach, you have two emotions, total elation or abject misery. There it is. You win or lose. So that's what you're going into.
Yes, sir. Of course.
What do you like about Shriner so far? You've been in class, you've been practicing. What do you like about it?
I love how friendly everyone is. It kind of like shocked me because coming in, I mean, people are friendly here and there, but it's not like a every person type of thing. Some people are friendly, some people aren't. But here, everyone's just so friendly, so easy to talk to. It's
Class sizes are relatively small.
it's all the classes they're somewhat small. I'd say more towards the smaller side, but I mean, nothing smaller than high school class.
Well, Caleb, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Good meeting you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
And see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Let's see who we're coming in next. I think we have William Baxter, defensive back. Hello, William. Hello, sir. Come on in, sit down. Put the headphones on. We'll introduce you to everybody here at ShrinerMountaineers.com and on YouTube. So don't be nervous. From Humble?
Yes, sir.
I knew how to say that. I'm a native Texan. Most people go Humble, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, from Humble. Defensive back. What did you think about your team's play in the first game?
I feel like our team played a very well game. I feel like we came and executed at a very high level. I feel like everybody performed well. I looked at the costume. We didn't really care about who was freshmen when we welcomed in. It was a job and we did it.
Defense, we talked to the coach. You gave up 34 points, but you also forced 4 turnovers. And you got the win. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Defensive back, what do you like about playing defensive back?
I love the physicality of it because if you play a corner, you got to be real physical because a lot of people going to be bigger than you or taller than you. It doesn't really matter. It's about how physical you are and how you really fit in.
Talking to William Baxter, defensive back for the Mountaineers, what was the process that led you to decide to come to the Hill Country?
The process that decided me to come to Shriner, it was really the opportunity it gave me. And I went to orientation. Orientation really like sealed my final opinion because all the love, the school support, everybody really tuned in and really for their school. So that's really why I came to Shriner. All the school.
It's like a small community. Out there, and you come from Houston, that's a big place. Also, you're starting something new. William Baxter, Caleb Hernandez, Christian Laura, all of you guys are going to be remembered as the first, doing a lot of things first.
Yes, sir.
So, your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on being the first. In high school, we was my class. We was the first ever. Like, I'm used to being the first or something.
So you started as a new high school.
Nah, like my freshman class, we had like everything was given to us. We didn't have to earn it.
Okay.
So when we earned it, and it was given when we earned it, it was easy for me to earn this right here because I was used to it in high school. We had to earn everything we got. It was not easy or given to us. You had to earn it. In Division 6A, you gotta earn and fight every day. So I had the motivation to earn my spot, earn the fight, and go with my team.
When you came to Kerrville, did you bring your parents and everything and look at college? So they liked it too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's your major?
Law.
What now?
Law.
Law. Okay, so you want to be an attorney?
Yes, sir. I want to be a lawyer.
You want to be a lawyer? Okay, well, William, thanks. Good meeting you. And good luck next time on when you play Mary Hardin.
Thanks, sir.
All right, we have met some of the Mountaineers who got that victory. And again, it was so pleasant to look at that score and see 59-34. Now they'll play a better team on Monday in Belton. Mary Hardin Baylor is one of the better teams in the American Southwest Conference, and that is the conference that the Mountaineers will play in next season. They're currently in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference of SCAC, but this is the last year that they will be in the SCAC. Next year, they move to the American Southwest Conference. That's a conference with established teams, in particular, Hardin Simmons and Mary Hardin Baylor. Mary Hardin Baylor has won a couple of national championships, and Hardin Simmons is competitive every year. We'll be here every week. It might change a little bit from week to week, depending upon what we have next week. We have a volleyball game on Wednesday, so we might have to move it. We'll let you know on social media. You can watch it right here at ShrineOfMountaineers.com and on YouTube and on Curlead right here. So we're available on several platforms. Ringo's is right here on Junction Highway. They've got a great restaurant here, and you might want to try the Mountaineer Burger and the Dollar Wings. So come on down to Ringo's. We'll be here until 8 o'clock. Back after this on the Shriner Sports Network.
Here at Shriner, we offer 4 different nursing programs. We have our VN program, Vocational Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, RN to BSN online program, as well as our new Master's in Family Nurse Practitioner track program. We offer small class sizes. In the classroom itself, you'll never have more than 30 students. Here in the Sim Lab, we always have 1 instructor to 10 students, at least 1 instructor to 10 students, where those instructors are able to build relationships and cater to the unique needs of the students. We have a lot of hands-on practice here in the Skills Lab. This allows our students to feel more comfortable when they're entering the clinical setting and performing these skills on actual patients.
That's feedback, right?
Back at Ringo's, Keith Allen has rejoined us. When you break down the film, what do you guys look at? How do you break it down? Do you break it down to defense look at defense, offense look at offense? What do they do?
It'd be defense looks at the opposing offense. Are you talking about the next opponent? So I'll take special teams off everybody's plate. I'll watch all the special teams come up with that. Coach Allmarks and the defensive staff will break down the opposing team's offense, and Coach Jones and the offensive staff break down the opposing team's defense. So from an offensive standpoint, we're really looking at, a couple of things. Number one, what's their front? How many linemen are playing with their hand moved? 3 or 4 or 5, whatever that may be. How many high safeties they have. And then what we say is we're looking for number 11. We're looking for the worst player on defense. Who are they trying to hide? Because somebody's got to be number 11. You know what I mean?
I never heard it put that way, number 11.
Somebody's got to be the number 11 player. And so we're going to do everything in our power to put our number 1 to match up on their number 11.
Yeah.
And however we can do that, we can do it.
Works out on that.
It does, sure does. And then it's a numbers game. Is there anything we can do offensively to get more numbers at the point of attack than them? And if there is, we're going to do it.
Right. I know you like being a head coach, but as a head coach, you're somewhat of a CEO.
Right.
And you're not intimately involved in some areas like you would be as an assistant.
Right.
Do you miss that at all, or?
That's why I coach special teams, because here's the deal. If you're the head coach and the offensive coordinator, the defensive players feel like everything's jaded towards the offense.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're the head coach and you're the defensive coordinator, like Gary Patterson at TCU, the offense feels jaded. Well, with me saying I'll do special teams, well, guess what? I get to coach every kid on our team because I get to coach the defense on field goal block. I get to coach the O-line on field goal.
Yeah.
And then I get to coach all the other kids on all the skill stuff. Kickoff return, punt return.
Yeah.
So it's a way to keep coaching everybody as a special teams coach. So I said when I first became a head coach, I will always be the special teams coordinator if I can as a head coach.
So you must love the fact. Were you watching the Cowboy game on Sunday?
I did not watch anything but our stuff.
Okay, but so they're playing the Giants,
Right.
and their kicker, Aubrey, is his name?
Right.
He's got to kick a 64-yard field goal just to send it to overtime. Nailed that sucker. 64 yards.
Well, and I think we talked about this before, but in today's society, the specialization of the kicker position is amazing. You know, they're year-round practicing. The techniques have gotten so much better. The leg strength and the workout regimens have become so much better that, you know, what was an anomaly 10 years ago, you know, making a 48 to 50-yard field goal is almost a chip shot in today's society, just because there's so much practice, the technique, the coaching, and again, the strength training they're doing specifically to be great kickers and punters.
And then he had to kick one in overtime to win.
And those guys, and that's, you know, those guys, not only they have to be trained, but they have to have ice in the veins. You know, they can't, it's, you know, we use the analogy, it's one and done. Special teams, one shot. You know, offense, you got 4 downs, right? Special teams, you get one and done. So it's either you make it or you don't. So those guys got to have that ice in their veins to do those things consistently.
Do you remember the first football game you played in?
That I played in?
You played in, yeah.
Vaguely. I was in 5th grade, and Oklahoma you could play tackle
Do you remember
football.
your first high school game? Anything about your first high school game?
Other than it was on, we were on turf, and I missed the tackle, and I got yelled at. I do remember that. I was playing an inside linebacker, and they ran an ISO play, and I didn't fit right. And our turf was that old school turf, okay, with like sand in it, not like with the rubber pellets. And so I remember missing the tackle and my elbow scraping against that. But that's what I remember.
And then you go to college. And did you play college? Or
I was a walk-on, yeah.
You were a walk-on.
For a little bit until they told me I wasn't good enough to be a walk-on.
Well, then you made a good career choice.
So, but I knew I wanted to be a coach when I was a little bitty kid. You know, like I said, I dressed as Tom Landry when I was 3 or 4. They asked me when I was a junior in high school, you know, going into your senior year, what do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be an NFL coach. Now, that changed as I went through and learned a little bit more about the game. But, you know, I got my degree in civil engineering and turned down probably an $85,000 engineering job in 1997 to go make $700 a month to be a GA at Oklahoma. So, you know, they never questioned my intelligence, you know, just my sanity.
So, but you're part of a big program at Oklahoma.
Right.
I mean, that's at the time, that's as big as it gets.
Right.
So what did you learn from that experience?
Well, remember, I went through 3 head coaches in my time from a walk-on to a student coach to a graduate assistant. So if you take everything and just, you know, put it at face value, you learn a lot of what you like as a coach and what you think's not very good. Mm-hmm. So every coach, you know, that's why I tell my assistants when I hire them, I'm like, look, there's going to be some decisions I make you're going to disagree with. And, you know, you need to, if you feel like comfortable, ask. So, and I'll explain it. Because sitting in the big chair, you know this, sitting in the big chair is a lot different than not sitting in the big chair. Because there's a lot of variables you're aware of that they may not be. And that's what I tell them. I'm like, I'm hiring you for blinders. You know, I want you to be the best DB coach you can be, the best O-line coach you can be. Let me worry about the other stuff. And I learned a lot of those type of things, you know, working for great coaches. Dennis Franchione, I got to spend some time with him, and, you know, 2.5 years with him at TCU. Bill Young was my mentor at Oklahoma. He was our defensive coordinator. Texas name people may remember Dick Wendell was the offensive coordinator for the year. But I got Gary Gibbs, John Blake, and Howard Snellberger. You know, I got a trifecta of coaches at OU that they'd like to offer get. But you learn a lot. You learn everywhere you go something good, something bad.
You were a graduate assistant, which means they give you they pile a lot of work on you.
Yes.
So in my time in the NBA, there were several guys who started as film guys,
Right.
breaking down the film for the coaches. And one is Eric Spoelstra at Miami. Mike Budenholzer did that with Greg Popovich, then came to Milwaukee and won a championship for us. And they talk about how hard it was. The work was very hard. It was very intensive, and you had to get it done. Like if the game was at night, the coaches wanted, the next morning, they wanted the stuff done, and you had to do it. Was that part of what you learned?
Oh, 100%. Like, the kids today, it's what they all say, you know. Like when I was doing it, it was still VHS, and they're like, well, you don't remember when it was 16 millimeter and you had to actually cut it by hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now it's all digitally uploaded. So what would have taken me 10 hours after a game to get done, they can do right now in about an hour. And if you have time, you can send it to AI, and you can send it, and the computer will do it for you and send it back. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you learn doing it old school, I guess is the way to say it. When you're breaking it down by hand, and you're you heard the Bill Belichick padding the game. So you're writing every play down. You're not using the computer to make the plays. You learn a lot just because you have to be so focused on what you're doing. You have to be so keen on the variations of what you're seeing because you're actually writing the variations down every play.
Keith Allen, head coach at Shriner University. But when you were doing that, did you love it? Did you feel like you were working?
I've never worked a day in my life.
See, I haven't either. So you and I have beaten the system.
100%. Like, one thing my dad told me, my dad was a construction worker, and that's why I got the civil engineering, because I was like, well, they told me I'm really good in math and science, I should be an engineer. He goes, well, you should be a civil engineer so I can hire you. And then, like I said, I had the job offer to be an engineer or be a GA, and I chose the GA job. But, if you follow your passion, and you work hard at it, the money will follow.
It does.
And, but if you're worried about the money, then being a coach, or, you're not going to be great at whatever you do because you're more worried about the money.
That's absolutely true. And I tell people, I talk to young people, and I say, if you can find what you love to do, what you got a passion for, and then make a living at it, you're going to be a happy person.
I mean, the best piece of advice my father gave me on this was, there's going to be days you wake up and you're not going to like your job no matter what it is. There's going to be days you're like, I don't want to do this. But he's what he told me at a very young age. I'm working at Little Caesars Pizza, and he goes, when the days are more that you don't like the job than you do, quit. He goes, don't stay in the job that you don't like.
Yeah.
And, that's what I've done. I was like, if I don't like a job after, like 5 days in a row, I'll find a new job, I guess.
When I was growing up in Lubbock, they had a guy named Jack Dale doing Texas Tech games, play-by-play. And I would listen to him. And then we had season tickets to the games, and especially in basketball, because I could look down and see him right courtside. And it occurred to me that he was getting paid to go see what I was paying to go see.
Right.
And I like the economic concept of that.
Exactly. It's kind of like so when they asked me politely at OU, said, hey, you're not good enough to be the 105 as a walk-on because there's better walk-ons, but we can pay you, basically a work study to be a student coach. So I'm like, so I get to go to practice. I don't have to block Aubrey Beavers at all Big 8 linebacker, and I get coaching gear, and I get paid. Sign me up.
So from my standpoint, it was, okay, I get paid to go see NBA games. I get to fly on a charter plane.
Right.
And thanks to Pat Riley, we stayed in a 5-star hotel.
There you go.
I have no reason to complain at all.
No, it's fantastic, and that's the deal. Try to teach these kids, if you follow your passion, you work hard at that. You just can't follow your passion and not work hard. You have to work hard, and good things happen.
I remember when I got a job at a really good radio station in Dallas. It was really my first big break. And I was making no money. I was making like $600 a month, but my expenses were low.
Right.
So then this guy offers me $1,000 a month. I got a $400 a month raise. I didn't even negotiate. I said, yes,
Absolutely.
and you're right. The money then followed and everything happened.
Well, and so there's two other things we'll talk about on this really quick is, I told young coaches, stay as broke as you can for as long as you can. Because once you make real money, you can never go back.
No.
So, like, if you want to coach college football, unless you get a lucky break, you'd make more as a high school coach at most places. But here I'm going to show you this. This was the verse I shared with the kids today, and it ties in exactly what me and you were talking about. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary of doing good. For at the proper time we will reap the harvest if we do not quit."
That's it.
And that's what we've been talking about this entire time. Is, hey, pay the dues, do good work, don't get tired of it, and your time will come.
You are an example of what hopefully these kids are soaking up. You learn things from athletics and sports that you have used your entire life.
Absolutely. Great coaches use this platform to teach life lessons.
Yeah.
Like sometimes your best isn't good enough. Sometimes you're not gonna get the position you want on the team because you're not better than the other guy. But you've given us your best effort, but sometimes that doesn't turn out to make you the first team guy. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people throughout life. Is I've been told if I give my best effort, it'll always work out. Well, it'll work out. Maybe it's not necessarily exactly the same picture you thought it would.
Did you know anything about the hill country before you came here?
Not really.
So what are your impressions? I mean, this is my favorite part of Texas.
I tell you what, I love everything about it. So when we moved to Houston, we took a weekend trip to Fredericksburg. So when Coach Jones calls me and says, "Hey, Shriner University has a job open," and I was like, "I've never heard of Shriner," and he goes, "Well, they're just starting football." And I was like, "Well, that's why I wouldn't know about them." Yeah. He goes, "It's here in Kerrville," and I was like, "Yeah, I know where that's at." And then I had I had internet search. I didn't know where Kerrville was at. All I knew was Coach Jones worked there, so I wasn't going to tell him I didn't know where it was at. And but when I step foot on this campus, just the people, I'm sitting on campus in town, everybody's super nice, genuine. Now the traffic's a little slow, people turn left a little slow, but once you deal with that,
we got. I'm one of them now. We got a lot of old folks in this town.
Hey, I'm with you. But I would rather live here any day of the week than be where I was before and get my tailgate stolen out of my backyard. I'm in the driveway.
I know.
I mean, I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
So, I told my wife when that happened, I was like, it's time to get out of Houston. We got to go somewhere else. And this has been a pleasant change, just a great community. They love football, so that helps me.
Right.
And, everybody, like I said before, everybody loves a beginner and a winner. So right now we're beginners. We haven't won win. So we want to know. So I should retire now and be done.
Keith, thanks.
Yes, sir.
We'll do this again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right, when we come back, the president of the whole university, Charlie McCormick, is going to join us to talk about a lot of things that involve Shriner University and the Mountaineers. Again, we're at Ringo's on the River, back after this on the Shriner Sports Network.
I'll get
Let me tell you, here at Shriner, one of the things we bring to the table are those smaller classrooms. The ability for the professors and the instructors to get to know you personally, understand how you learn, and work with you to get you through these programs and make you a professional. One of the things I tell every freshman class is airlines do not hire co-pilots. They do not hire pilots. They hire future captains. And that's what we strive to do here at Shriner, is arm you with the capabilities to go out someday and be the captain of an airliner, the captain of a corporate jet, ready to make the tough decisions and lead your flight to a safe conclusion every time.
Here at Shriner, we offer 4 different nursing programs. And we have our VN program, Vocational Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, RN to BSN online program, as well as our new Master's in Family Nurse Practitioner track program. We offer small class sizes. In the classroom itself, you'll never have more than 30 students. Here in the Sim Lab, we always have 1 instructor to 10 students, at least 1 instructor to 10 students, where those instructors are able to build relationships and cater to the unique needs of the students. We have a lot of hands-on practice here in the Skills Lab. This allows our students to feel more comfortable when they're entering the clinical setting and performing these skills on actual patients.
And we're back at Ringo's on the River, joined by the president of Shriner University, Charlie McCormick.
Delighted to be here.
Thank you for joining us. You've had the wings.
Actually, tonight I had fried catfish.
Oh, was it good?
Excellent.
Okay.
I'll get it again.
Right here at Ringo's on Junction Highway. We just saw a commercial for your nursing department.
Yeah.
You got to be proud of that. That's one of the best nursing departments in the entire country.
Well, not only am I proud of the quality of the program, but the faculty and the staff there, they've really developed a program that can track along the professional career of a nurse. So you can start off as a licensed vocational nursing faculty member or a professional, then maybe come back and get an ADN,
Okay.
then get the BSN, and as you reach the end of your career and you want to teach other nurses, might come back and get the Master of Science in Nursing at that point. So it's very high quality, but it's also the sort of thing that you can go through the program your entire life as your life situation changes. So
And we show one for the aviation department. You now have, you're teaching people to fly.
which is terrifying.
Have you been up?
Well, it won't surprise, not with one of our students yet, but I have been up in a plane. You know, we normalize all sorts of stuff on college and university campuses that are probably not the safest thing in the world, but we have yet to normalize putting people in the metal bucket and putting them up in the air.
You know, I flew about 50,000 miles a year
Okay.
for 33 years.
Yeah.
And I was amazed how few instances we had. It really is very safe.
It's very safe, and of course, safety is their number one priority, and they're out checking the planes, talking about what they're going to do, if there's wind or any other risk elements. So it's really a different operation than most of us are used to.
Kind of a new thing here at Shriner with football. Football's back. So what was the process of bringing football back to Shriner for the first time since 1957? I mean, Dwight D. Eisenhower was president.
Well, you know, it's the sort of thing that I couldn't walk around town without somebody asking me, when are we bringing back football?
Yeah.
And my quick response was, never going to happen. Never going to happen. But in the conference we're currently in, it did not sponsor football. And so one of our challenges was, who are we going to play if we have a football team? But there were a couple of teams or a couple of schools in the conference that decided to add football. And our board said, under that set of circumstances, we at least need to have a serious discussion about it. And the discussion lasted over a year.
Okay.
And you know, those first few months, if I was a betting guy, I would have told you it's not going to happen.
So what turned the tide?
So I think one of the most important moments in this whole process was at a board meeting. One of our board members from Midland raised her hand as soon as the presentation was over, and we called on her. And she said, you know, after everything I've heard, I now understand that football is a way to get some young men to go to college who otherwise would never consider going to college.
Yes.
So why wouldn't we do football under that sort of circumstances? And I knew at that moment, this thing's going to happen.
Okay. There's a financial commitment to this too, then.
There is.
And that you had to meet. So what was the process of that?
So, you know, we're in the middle of a comprehensive endowment campaign right now. And the board was clear that we can't stop that to focus on fundraising for football. And so they said, you've got to find another way to do this. And, you know, it was a couple of things that just worked in our favor. We were lucky about. Part of it was our development of the Loop property and being able to sell some of that land. Part of it was our discussion with the Economic Improvement Corporation that said, you know, something like football is going to have benefits all across the board. And so we should invest in this. So a lot of sources and then just some very generous individuals who said, we know this is important. We want to help you do this.
Charlie McCormick, president of Shriner University. One of the things that you did was you took an old gym, Eddington, and made it into a really nice looking locker room and practice facility. That had to be a rewarding process to see where that was and then have the ribbon cutting and then know where you are now.
It really was. And, you know, that's something we've done a lot on campus. We probably had buildings that another place would have said, man, we're just going to tear that ugly old thing down. And over again, we've been able to say, we can bring this back to life in a new way that will serve our students and our employees and be a showpiece, not something to be embarrassed by. And, you know, Ted, that building is named after the second president at Shriner, Andy Eddington. And Andy was not only a pretty salty halfback in his college days, but he was a college coach at a military school in Mobile, Alabama, before he came to Shriner as president. And so I never met Andy, but there's a part of me that thinks he would be pretty proud of what we've done to that building that bears his name.
What do you think students that come to Shriner like most about it?
You know, I think a lot of students like the idea that it's not frenetic in the way you find at some bigger schools and some metropolitan schools. And that lack of freneticness lets us develop really deep relationships with each other.
Most of the students I've talked to said they like the smaller class size.
Yeah, that's right. And we talk a lot about relational learning. And that can only happen in a place that's small.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do it in a class of 400, 500 people.
You got a record attendance this year.
We did.
1,470, I believe.
That's right.
Is that about where you want to be? How much would you like to see the school grow?
So I think that given our footprint on the land that we own, we could probably grow up to 2,000 and still feel very much like a small school and not lose any of that magic that makes Shriner so special.
I know the long-term plan is to have an on-campus stadium, but in the meantime, what a blessing it is to have Antler Stadium.
Oh my goodness! And you know, it's a beautiful venue. It's a wildly functional venue, and our friends at KISD have been so generous and helpful, and are trying to accommodate us in every way. It's just good to have partners like that when you're doing something like relaunching football.
And you're a sports fan. I see you at a lot of the events.
I'm a big fan, but I'll tell you, my wife is #1 fan.
Is she?
So it's something pretty big that makes her miss a home game.
I had never done volleyball until I got here, and I still don't know if I'm any good at it. I get the score right. I get the score right, but I have really enjoyed watching volleyball because the amount of energy expended by those young ladies is just extraordinary.
It is, and they are getting more fun to watch
They're getting
every
better and
year.
better, yeah.
Now, I don't know what this means.
I don't know that either. The thing that threw me off most is after every play, win or lose, both teams celebrate.
They do.
I could
That's
never tell who won the play.
But I love that. That's a wonderful part of the sport.
So anyway, we'll be Saturday is the home opener.
That's
for
right.
volleyball. And Jeremiah Tipton's doing a great job.
He is. He is so proud and impressed of everything he's accomplished in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what's coming up. We talked about volleyball. They'll be playing Saturday at 2 o'clock. We've got a men's soccer game. In fact, let me write this down. We got soccer home tomorrow against Dallas Christian. That'll be at 6 p.m. Women's soccer is on the road at Tarleton State tomorrow in Stephenville. And then volleyball, we'll have a 2 p.m. game at the Event Center. Opening game of the conference season against McMurray at the Event Center. And that will start a 3-game homestand with volleyball games on Saturday, Wednesday, and then Friday of the following week. So we got a lot of activities right here on campus.
And those volleyball games are not to be missed. I encourage everybody, if you haven't been out to campus for a while, this is a good reason to come and watch those women play. You're going to be impressed.
Charlie, thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
out.
Ted.
And,
So appreciate it.
I'm glad you enjoyed the catfish.
Thank you.
I'll try that next time. All right, that's it for the Coaches Show this week. We'll be back next week. We might have to change it because of the volleyball game, but stay tuned. We'll let you know. It might be early in the week. But thanks to Keith Allen, thanks to Caleb Hernandez, Christian Laura, and William Baxter, who played in that 59-34 win that the Mountaineers had in Houston this past weekend. Thanks to everybody at Ringo's. Thanks to Jared Hyman. Thanks to Michael Bennett for setting us up. And we'll see you next time here at Ringo's on the Shriner Sports Network.